If you search for ways to make money online, you will find thousands of videos, and most of them talk about building a business, learning a new skill, or investing money that you might not have yet. But what if you just want to make your first $100 online with no experience and no investment, just to prove to yourself that it is actually possible? I've been testing ways to make money online since 2016, and I can tell you there are methods that are generally beginner friendly, where no special skills are required, and that can get you to $100 if you approach them the right way. And in this video here, I'm going to cover 4 of them and explain what you can realistically expect. So before we get into the methods, I just want to talk a little bit about what to expect, because $100 online is definitely doable, but how fast you can get there depends on several different things. For example, your country, of course, how much time you put in, and also the methods you use and which methods fits your profile and your interests the best. Because the reality is that in some countries you can reach $100 with 3 methods within maybe already a week or 2 if you're consistent, and in others it might take quite a bit longer, but no matter where you live, it definitely is still possible. One thing you just need to completely avoid is to think that it will happen overnight, because that's just not how it works to make money online. There will be a period where you are figuring out what works for you. Then it gets easier and your earnings also can become more consistent. However, I just want to make it clear that the methods I will show in this video here are not ways to make a living or anything like that. It's not a way to become rich or start a full-time income. What I will show you are realistic ways to earn some extra money on the side, and they are perfect for getting you started right away, no matter your background and no matter your experiences. So with the expectations set, let's now jump into the first of the methods I want to show you. So the first free method I want to show you is to use what's called GPT sites. It's also known as get paid to sites. And these are platforms where you can earn by, for example, completing offers, playing games, downloading apps, signing up for free trials, watching videos, answering surveys, and more. And 2 good options are, for example, Gemsloot and FreeCast. Both of them are platforms you can join from all countries. FreeCast is mainly if you live in a so-called high income country, but both platforms are some that you can join from all countries and find different payout methods and also many different ways to earn. And I have tested hundreds of different get paid to sites, and these are 2 of the highest paying ones, and they, as mentioned, have flexible payout methods also, which is definitely great. So whether you want to get paid in cash, gift cards, or crypto, then you can do that on those. The key with get paid to sites is not just to grab whatever offer, a gaming offer or whatever comes up first, because there are many offers and not all of them will be worth it. So you need to go to the offer walls, look at what the top earners, for example, are completing. You need to make sure to look at the exact conditions for each offer, because some, they may look good, but then when you look at the conditions, what you need to do to earn and all that, it might not be worth it anyways. So just choose wisely, and once you learn which ones are worth it for you, which type of offers and all that, then it definitely can be a great way to earn some extra money on the side. I also have a list of the best get paid to sites on my website. These are just 2 examples, so I'll leave a link to that below. There you can also find full tutorials, full descriptions, join links for these platforms also, and also videos with payment proof and all that. So I'll leave links to that below if you choose to use this as one of the methods. And just to mention also, you don't have to just choose these 2 sites or just one of them. You can join several get paid to sites eventually if you want to scale up on this method. But before deciding, let's move on to the next method also. The second method I want to talk about is paid surveys, because paid surveys is just one of the absolute fastest way to start earning a bit of extra money online. Not everyone likes paid surveys, but because it is so easy to get started with, we definitely have to talk about it here. 2 options you can quickly get started with is, for example, Pawns app. It has both an app for iOS and Android devices and a website. You can find quite a lot of surveys here from all countries. Another one is Branded Service if you live in the US, UK, or Canada. This is really great and user-friendly, both also website and app. But again, these are just 2 examples. But one thing you need to be aware of when it comes to paid surveys is that often people give up. They maybe join service sites, they try a few surveys, then they get disqualified, and then they just give up and think it doesn't work. And this is the wrong way to start doing paid service in my experience, because what actually happens on most service sites is that the more active you are, the better the platforms gets to know your profile, and the more it knows about you, the better the match becomes comes. So then in many cases, if you just keep being active, you'll also start getting access to more surveys, and in many cases also even higher paying surveys, and also qualifying for more surveys. And when you also figure out which type of surveys you qualify for, then you will also just pick and choose, and it will all become easier. So you need to have a bit of patience. It's not something that you'll just figure out by just trying to take a few surveys. So give it a couple of weeks of regular activity, and then you will definitely notice the difference. But how good an opportunity paid surveys are depends a lot on your country. In some countries you can earn $100 fairly quickly just from taking paid service, while in others it may take months. So just keep that in mind. Paid service is not a good option for all countries. Third method is user testing. In my opinion, be a really fun and also a well-paid way to earn some extra money, because you, for example, get to test websites or apps, and then you share your feedback. In many cases, you actually need to record your screen, not your face, but just your screen, and then speak your thoughts out loud. And it can be actually quite interesting. And it usually pays quite a bit more per task than surveys or get paid to sites. However, the trade-off is that there are usually fewer tests available, so it works best as something you combine with some of the other methods I talk about in this video here. Two platforms worth taking out can, for example, be usertesting.com and Testing Time. These are some where I regularly get fairly well-paid user tests offered, but just keep in mind that the test availability will also vary depending on your country. And just because there are tests available, it doesn't mean you qualify for all of them. It can be quite hard to qualify, but when you do, it pays quite nicely. But it's a good idea to join several options. Again, here I also do have a list on my website of the best user test. I forgot to mention, actually, I also do have a list of the best service sites for each country, because the best options there depends on your country. So I'll also leave that below, as well as a list of the best user testing platforms, so you can check that out again with full reviews and tutorial of all the platforms, not just the couple of examples I mentioned here, so you can easily get started with the options you want to. The last method I want to talk about before then giving you some extra tips about how to get the most out of this overall, that is microtask sites. And these are mainly platforms where you can complete small tasks. It can, for example, be image labeling, data categorization. It can also be content review. And two examples of this is, for example, Toloka and ClickWorker. And personally, it's not a type of work I use a lot. And the reason for this is that the earnings per tasks are in many cases lower than many of the other methods, but microtasks tends to be available in more countries than, for example, most service sites or user testing platforms. So if you are in a country where some of the other options might not give the best opportunities, then microtasks sites can be something to consider, where you can actually start earning a bit of extra money without any investment at all. So I just want to finish up with a few important things to help you get the best chances of success when you're trying to make your first money online. Because when I first started making money online, I did not just rely on one method. I combined several of them. And it was actually that combination that helped me make my first real money online. And I still remember the moment that I realized it was actually possible to earn something online. Not just some kind of weird promise I'd seen online, but something I had actually done myself with my own results in front of me. Even though the first money I made was not a lot, it still proved to me that it was possible. So for me personally, that was just the beginning, and it gave me the confidence to keep going and eventually build something bigger. But that's not the point for everyone, and that's also completely fine, of course. Some people just want a bit of extra money on the side to cover some extra bills, treat themselves, or get a little more breathing room in their budget. And the methods I have shown here are perfect for that. And what I suggest to do is that you start with 2 or 3 of these methods here and join a couple of platforms for each method, and then try them out, see what works for your profile and for your country, and then focus more time on what is actually working for you and giving you results. So do not just put all your time into one platform. Most people actually reach the first $100 online by using more than one platform. As mentioned, I have a full list of recommended platforms across all these different 4 categories here on my website, so I'll leave a link below in the description so you can go there and find the best options for you depending on your preferences. And if you have any questions, or if you have experiences with any of these methods, then please just ask in the comments. I make sure to reply to every single comment and question there. And finally, if this video helped you, then please make sure to hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out next time I release a video with tips and tricks about different ways to make money online.